With people all over the country ready to take up pitchforks and demanding the government launch a new Pecora Commission, the scandals continue to roll in. Recently, Bank of America's CEO, Kenneth Lewis, admitted that he had gone to the U.S. Treasury in December to try to back out of the proposed Bank of America takeover of Merrill Lynch after he discovered that Merrill Lynch was completely insolvent. Treasury Secretary Hank Paulson assured him that everything would be hunky-dory and promised Lewis $25 billion in additional capital for the takeover and $118 billion in bad loan guarantees. When the shareholders at B of A were called on to vote up the takeover, that little backroom deal with Paulson was kept very, very quiet. So what does this amount to? The Secretary of the Treasury insisted that the CEO of one of the biggest U.S. banks commit a willful fraud. My heavens, why, this nearly sounds criminal. But wait, the plot thickens. As economist Nouriel Roubini pointed out in a recent conference in Dubai, the losses of the U.S. financial system will soon reach $3.6 trillion, where we only have capital of about $1.4 trillion. Roubini said that the U.S. banking system as a whole is bankrupt. It's insolvent, and the same is true of Europe. Yes, this is true. This is good. This is nothing new. LaRouche has been pointing this out since his triple curve forecast of 1996, and many so-called economists are just now catching on. So what are they proposing? Roubini argues that President Barack Obama will have to plan another $1 trillion bank bailout on top of the second half of the $700 billion Troubled Asset Relief Program, or the TARP fund, which was just put through. Babblers of the world unite. The talk has started up of how to head off the economic meltdown, and so far, here's what the brains of modern economy have come up with. In a speech at the London School of Economics, Ben Bernanke proposed that the U.S. Treasury should take responsibility for removing troubled assets from the balance sheets of banks and other financial institutions. The Treasury would purchase them either directly or indirectly. That is, either over the counter or from the guy in the alley, or they would guarantee them. Another idea for moving the toxic waste out of the financial system was that the government could create bad banks. Well, I guess the first question is, what do you do with a bad bank? Do you stand in front of the vault, waving your finger, saying, "Bad bank, bad bank"? But we should probably leave those questions up to the experts. It will most likely be the subject of an upcoming financial conference. No, this is a bunch of hyperinflationary nonsense, and we should put these banks and institutions through bankruptcy reorganization. That's what you do, LaRouche said. You put them through bankruptcy. You can do it by bankruptcy proceedings. You can say that those things which are of value to the government and to the people will be protected, and those other things won't. President Obama has to push and declare this hyperinflationary bailout nonsense illegal. He should say, this is fraudulent. We found that the evidence shows that this is fraudulent. Because you can't have the United States being destroyed by this kind of operation. Stop the bailouts and go ahead with bankruptcy proceedings and the criminal investigations of the financiers and officials who perpetrated these crimes, which are tantamount to treason against the United States. And, LaRouche concluded, the new Pecora Commission is going to find itself with some questions that the old one didn't quite have. Stay tuned to LaRouche Pack TV, where beginning at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, we will broadcast LaRouche's historic January 22nd webcast live from Washington, D.C.